Perception. I will briefly touch on an issue that was brought to my attention. We all have problem situations in our relationships, but when a problem arises, is it the whole problem, or are we more of the problem? How can two or more people see things differently from the same life stage and narrative? Is our perception sometimes tainted with untruth, a false truth, when it comes to them or us being wrong or at fault? Every one of us is selfishly biased and are determined to see ourselves in the right, even when we may be wrong in some aspect or totally wrong. Who wants others to see their vulnerability, their weakness, or ignorance? Does that justify telling a white, gray, or black lie in attempting to make oneself look better than the next person? Just to win a spiritual battle or verbal argument? No, of course not. Yet human nature is childishly immature. Worldliness should have nothing to do with the spiritually mature man that we are becoming. Yet it seems like whoever cusses the most and argues the loudest is the more convincing to the crowd. But what kind of crowd are we trying to win over? And for what reason? I studied this phenomena with men and women, as well as boys and girls, and there was no difference. Both young and old acted the same way. Yet the boys and girls had a good excuse. They were still children and had not yet the opportunity to grow up. If we are wrong, we must admit wrong, man up, and apologize, or we should not put ourselves in those situations. It's a big part in the process of maturing, and we must go through it. If not, we will never get past the childhood stages of our mental and behavioral development. There are also other biblical points of view. One is Yeshua stating, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And Stephen stating, "Lord, lay not this sin to their charge." In other words, true love comes with mercy and forgiveness. And in the love chapter, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, Paul describes love, and in verse 11 he stated how he was able to love. When he became a man, he put childishness away. Simply, people do not know what they are really doing. Many are subconsciously led, thus they do not give it thought, and are as mere puppets. Brothers, if they knew better, they probably would not have said it, and what they said or did what they did. They were deceived and blinded to the truth. According to Matthew 18:15-17, with witnesses, it should be brought to their attention at a later and calmer time. Brothers, be patient in resolving heated matters. Satan, his crew, and human nature all too often take over and run the show. Forgive your brother the way God has forgiven you, whether they apologize or not. Their perception may have been off for whatever reason, and they did not know what they were saying or doing. Most of the time, it's not worth the argument, and in the end, we will see just how irrelevant it really was. Brothers, remember, the enemy will attempt to erupt a volcano from something as small as a pimple. Sincerely, his servant George, 95th Ministries of Bakersfield, California. Shalom.